What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome back to the Nickadug Express, where I like to express my opinions on movies, TV, gaming, really whatever, entertainment-wise, or really what I like to talk about or just feel like talking about. And so in today's video, I thought we'd talk about Season 4 of Rick and Morty, including the finale, which just aired not that long ago. Literally just watched it, but I'm going to save that for the end because Season 4 of Rick and Morty was really just different than I was expecting. So, we have the first three seasons, first two. The more you think about the first two seasons really go hand in hand because they really have similarities of just the structure, having new concept ideas for stories, and the A and B plots are always either connected somehow towards the end, or sometimes they go off on different adventures, obviously, but they always normally had ideas and themes that would tie into each other towards the end of the episodes. Once season 3 started after the premiere, it felt like they were kind of doing more one-off adventures. Obviously, we know that they had different ideas going on behind the scenes in the writer's room. They wanted to change the family dynamic up a bit, which they did change back to kind of the way season 1 and 2 was with the family in season 4. So, needless to say, when season 4 started, I just was really disappointed by the season 3 finale. It's not by any means a horrible episode. If it was standalone, it would be pretty funny and probably pretty good, but they chose season 3 to end on that note. So coming into season 4, I was really not sure what to expect just because of that season 3 finale, which didn't have any real way to know or gauge what was going to happen in season 4. So, I loved Rick and Morty, or I do love Rick and Morty, but that season 3 finale is probably my least favorite episode if I'm being completely honest. And coming into season 4, the season 4 premiere was a really good premiere and really washed my mouth of what that season 3 finale was. So gave me hope again that this season was still going to be at least enjoyable, even though that finale let me down. So after the season 4 premiere, which I really liked, we had the second and third episode, the One Crow Over the Cuckoo's Morty, and then The Old Man in the Seat, I believe is what it was called. And those two episodes right after the premiere were really good episodes, seeing more of Rick's kind of internal mindset a bit, kind of building upon what we know about him, how he feels about himself, really just, the kind of Rick shenanigans that you would expect from him. In the third episode, when you're getting him doing the whole, heist bit, it was kind of like a, I don't know what you would call it exactly, just the whole theme of the episode was a heist kind of theme. Dan Harmon playing on that. So the first 3 episodes are really good. Fourth episode, the whole dragon thing, that's probably my least favorite. That's probably a lot of what people are saying. I really still enjoy Rick and Morty even when they don't have amazing stories, because I just really enjoy the characters as a whole. So sometimes when they have this kind of average episodes, I still enjoy them, just not to the same extent as those high tier level episodes. And even though that one was average, I still got through it okay, which led to the 5th episode, which was Rattlestar Galactica, I believe, and that was the last of the first half of season 4. Whole bunch of snakes, the whole planet, that was a classic Rick and Morty episode. Even the end credits of these episodes were just classic Rick and Morty, and that 5th episode was really good. So the first 5 gave me a really solid taste, and I thought it was at least but the first 5 was better than the first 5 of season 3, forgetting the season 3 premiere, which was fantastic. So I was really optimistic about this season, and then waiting a few months to get the second half of season 4. I was very excited. First 2 episodes, Never Ricking Morty, and then the whole Primordius episode. I think enjoy Never Ricking Morty more, just because it shows Dan Harmon's storytelling, has a very meta style to the story, which is on purpose because the show really goes for that meta. And then just the whole end credit scene of that train ad type of thing really reminded me of Community, just how they do that meta referencing of kind of like a story board game or just whatever. They did that in the season 6 finale, the series finale of Community, so really reminded me of that. Love the tie-ins, all that stuff. That episode also had a coronavirus reference, so I was really surprised about that when that came out. So that one was a really good coming back episode after the first 5 episodes of season 4. Yeah. And then Prometheus, really enjoyed that. Kind of, secondary storylines going on, just going through the motions, getting through another planet, or, they get their face attached to another host or whatever. Really interesting concepts. That's what I love about the show. Then we got the Vat of Acid episode, which I already knew from the name or the title it was going to be one of these episodes. Not that it was going to be entirely about the Vat of Acid. Like, I did think when it started maybe this episode is going to be all in the Vat of Acid, but it didn't end up being like that, and I could take it either way. I knew it was just going to be one of those standout episodes because it was titled the Vat of Acid episode. When I read it, I was like, this is going to be just one of those, like, you just tell. And I don't want to get into it that much because I really want to talk about the season 4 finale. But that episode, a lot of heartstrings, a lot of just what makes Rick and Morty, pulls at heartstrings, pulls at just human psyche, just how we are as humans, and at the end of the day, just Rick being as arrogant as possible about his inventions. And I gotta say, I think one of the funniest scenes in this season is in that episode when the guy thinks he's acid proof and then he just starts slapping his ass cheeks. Like, I was dead laughing. I watched that episode so many times just because it's that good, and definitely recommend that episode if you haven't seen it. Then we got into the second to last episode, Child Rick of Mort. Kind of an average episode. It shows the Smith family kind of like they were in the beginning. Kind of felt out of place, but it also reminded me of season 3, second to last episode, where they had a kind of Beth-centric episode, but it wasn't exactly just Beth. It was more Rick and then him and the whole god and the kids, which it kind of felt average. It was still enjoyable. I'm glad that wasn't the finale, because if that was the finale, I would be kind of triggered, especially after what they did with season 3. So that's the second to last episode. I forgave it. It was still an enjoyable Rick and Morty episode, which led into the season 4 finale, which is just... It really paid off. It paid off a lot, because after season 3, I wanted a good finale that made me wanting more Rick and Morty, not despising it, kind of making me like have a distasteful feeling about it. So beginning right away, you see Beth, and it's not the right Beth that you normally see. It's some other alternate version, at least that's what you think. And then right away you get into the intro and her fighting all these insect aliens that we've seen many times before. Intro happens, shows the Smith family at the table, and then right away they're getting that interaction with Beth coming to Rick, and you can just see that Beth is Rick's daughter. Like, you can see that she's not stupid, she's not smart. Just because she is a mom and she's at the house all the time, there's alternate versions of all these characters, and one of these alternate versions is this badass daughter from Rick. But then the question starts to come about, is she actually a clone, or is she the real daughter of Rick? And that's the lingering thing throughout this episode. And if they don't pay it off, then it'd kind of be, again, like a WTF, because like you kind of want to know these things. And so again, you get an alien invasion invading the planet. Susan Sarandon comes back to play the therapist again. Really small, not as big as the Roiland Pickle Rick, but she comes back. They're doing that thing. Jerry's doing puppet crap. It's typical Rick and Morty stuff. Morty wants to, spy on chicks. He's got invisible belt. So they really make you play into the element of thinking it's one story, but it's actually about Beth. And this time the Beth story was very interesting, because you see her more like Rick. You get more about her. I mean, she's literally the offspring of Rick, the only daughter, besides the only daughter, she's the only child Rick has ever had, besides the multiple versions of her. So, Jerry's just the husband, the kids are the kids, but this is literally from the loins of Rick, if you want to call it that. And you never really get to see her. And this ties in to that Beth-centric episode last season when she said, "You decide, you choose, because you're my father." And I'm really glad they tied that back in. The continuity's always been great. I felt like it's been I mean, I guess it really hasn't been missing this season, but continuity that mattered to an overall story. And this time it was personal. It was very emotional, and you finally got to see Rick again in another state where he realizes his own flaws, and that's the stuff I've always loved about Rick and Morty, when you really break down Rick's character and his just emotional growth. Even though he's the smartest guy in the world, he can't escape his own mind, and the stuff he does, especially to his own daughter. You see that clip show, and I knew nobody was gonna watch it, but I was like, if they don't show it, then that would really just kind of be like, what the hell? And so I was like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna show it, and it's gonna be because Rick wants to watch it himself, because he doesn't know, so he's got to put the Morty's Mind Blower thing back into the port so he can watch. And they did have a lot of continuity from other episodes, so it was really nice, especially for a finale. And you see Rick watch that tape, and the song starts playing, and it's just such an emotional episode. Very action-packed too. I gotta say, it was so visceral. There was really good action, really good animation for action, and just kind of like Mortal Kombat stuff going on. And just every story element came together in a great way. Even the end credits scene with Jerry doing the invisible thing. I'm glad Jerry had kind of a win this episode as well. Just so if I would rank season 4 in a whole, I would probably give it a solid 9. I'll give it a solid 9, because if that finale, or if this finale didn't work, I'd probably give it an 8. And season 4, tonally, overall, I'd say it's tonally better than season 3, because season 3 kind of felt like each episode was kind of doing its own thing, but season 4 did have a lot more overarching stories, and I feel like this finale did at least do justice to past storylines and then leading into what has been going on this season. And even though definitely was not expected, because they bring back Phoenix Person and Tammy, and that was just a whole other thing. I was like, because they kind of teased some of that before, and this has been since season 3 premiere, so I'm glad they tied this up. At least for now, they tied up that part of the storyline. Maybe there's more. They brought them back, and the whole Phoenix Person and Rick fight, as I said, was just epic. I could go on talking about Rick and Morty, but again, I give this a 9 rating just because of how good this finale was. Not a perfect 10. I could always do a ranking video of the seasons of Rick and Morty now that it's over. Maybe I'll do that. Let me know your comments, your opinions, if I should do ranking video, if I should do more Rick and Morty videos. Just let me know any opinions you have, because I could talk all day about it, especially about tons of other stuff. So please check out other content I've created. I just released the Austin Powers video, because that's leaving Netflix, so if you want to check that video out, that will help me out. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go watch Rick and Morty season 4. I think it's coming to Netflix too next month, and it's going to be on HBO Max, so you could probably stream Rick and Morty anywhere at this point. So go watch that season 4 finale. Super good. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.